Hello again, everybody! This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with another Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor commentary. This is where I just create characters here in the Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor, which is only available on the Wii U and PC versions of this game. We're going to start off with a cat as the source object, because today, the most requested and most popular item was the battle cats, of course, from the game. And that is how I choose the items. Basically, each week is just based on your comments down below. Whatever is most popular and most requested is what gets created. So, of course, you don't always go with the most obvious source object, for instance, a cat for a cat character and stuff like that, but in this case, we're going to. You're gonna see in the future of this episode that actually some of the source objects are not cats themselves and stuff. It's just for the starting one, which is just kind of the normal battle cat, and that actually brings me to my next point. This is actually just the normal cats, the ones, basically the first units that you unlock as you progress. And so we started off with a dime to go over the cat source object, and the dime is going to be kind of imperative to most of the creations in this one in that it's kind of the main cat body that I'm using, because the little normal cat, the battle cat, basically is just this like round little cat with little stubby legs and stuff like that, and so dunce caps are going to be those legs, as well as the dunce cap for the ears. Of course, attach the dunce caps for the legs down on those leg grids down there. You can see that the green grids are active right now, but those ears were up on the body grid, so the ears were attached to the cat's body or torso. But then notice that I moved the face grid, for where the head of the cat normally is. Well, that's going to be the face of our battle cat here, just the regular cat. And so we put down a P to be the eyes, so do that twice. And of course, then it's the 29-page library, which is just a kind of a collection of shapes and stuff that you can grab. It's a lot of arm shapes and body parts and things. On the 22nd page, kind of near the bottom middle, but one row up, is the arms that we used for the nose. So we did two of them, just kind of both folded into each other. And a fish, we took the fin of the fish that's there on the body in the middle of the fish, of course not fish food, the fish animal, and then two eyebrows, and that basically creates the mouth and the various parts of the mouth. So alright, we're here in the properties editor. This is just where I kind of can edit health and speed and what objects react to it as, and all this kind of behind the scenes stuff. So this is where I like to read background information and fun facts about whatever we're creating in this series. So let's do it with Battle Cats, which is a tower defense strategy game available on both the App Store and Google Play's store. Now, it's been through some version changes, and the English version that reappeared in September 2014 is technically called The Battle Cats. And by September 2016, the game had reached 25 million downloads worldwide. So you guys know, as I said before, today's creations are just gonna only be for the normal cats, quote unquote, which are the first units that you unlock as you progress through the game. Each unit does have an evolved form and true form, but we don't have the time to show off such a huge amount of creations in one episode. Trust me, I know you guys won't watch it if I do an episode with like 27 characters and is an hour or more long. So I guess if people ever wanted to see all the other categories of cats, all evolved, all true form, or whatever else you'd want to see from this game, it'd be the same as every other creation any other week. Whatever's most popular and most requested will get created, so thanks for understanding. But just on that note, I will at least show off kind of the evolved and the true form for the normal cat, just because it was a really easy kind of adjustment. We could just kind of copy our cat, our battle cat from before, that first cat. And for Macho Cat, for instance, we just had Tiny, which was one of Maxwell's brothers. We had that as the arm that we can see to our left. But then, for example, like a sugar cube with a bean on the end of it and a crane, the bird, of course, the neck piece of the crane, that kind of middle neck piece, actually, that was all what created his balled up fist and stuff, the cat's arm on the other side. And so I did actually, in Scribblenauts, I don't always do this because the universes of Scribblenauts and whatever games I create things from or TV shows are always different. And so, like, for instance, if a battle cat does 10 damage or something like that, you can set it to its weapon to cause 10 damage in Scribblenauts. I usually kind of do the scaling differently, but in this episode, I am actually going to go completely with the damage settings from the game, except for they will exceed 100, I believe, as we get down to some of the cats later on. And I believe Scribblenauts has a limit to 100 damage. So anyway, we're going to be creating Tank Cat right now. You can copy that cat that we just created from before, but you're going to move everything and adjust it. On the 29-page library, go to the 23rd page, and in the top right corner, there's this arm shape right here that belongs to a troglodyte. Well, you can just take that arm, and that's basically going to be the main part of the body right here. We did have to shrink that cat body down below, I think once or twice, but then everything else is mostly just an adjustment, and because we made the face of the cat be on that head grid from our first cat that we just created earlier, we can actually then just turn on these green grids and move the grid itself so that the face will now be in place on the tank cat. This is going to make the face move kind of independently of the body, of course. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. So basically the face will be moving around even if the body is staying still or whatever, if that's the character's animation. And so just please be aware of that. But I think it looks good because, you know, battle cats, it's like the way that they're drawn is sort of just the body, and then like the head can move a little bit, but the head is kind of attached to the body. I feel like I'm not making sense at all. But a spiderfish, we can take that top fin of the spiderfish. I think that's what I'm going to use actually instead of what I had before, which was a sugar cube. That's going to be for the mouth right here, kind of this open mouth of the tank cat. And I really like the tank cat. Cool character, but I think I like more the axe cat, which is what we're creating now. Of course, you can copy that same cat from before. We're not going to do this for every single cat creation today, but just kind of for these beginning ones you can. And I used a yarmulke. The yarmulke is actually that faceplate armor right there that's going to go to this left side, and we painted it a little bit like a light gray silver color. And I did attach this time the face grids and everything. All those face pieces I have now attached to the torso because the axe cat, we want it to attack with the axe that it's going to be holding pretty soon. Hopefully you notice a toothpick is going to start out the eye on that left side, that scarred eye with the slit right there. And so the cat in Scribblenauts, when you type in cat in this game, it basically, with that black cat, the way that the cat attacks in Scribblenauts Unlimited is it uses its head to attack. And so we're actually going to put the axe where the head of the cat normally goes. So that's that green grid to the right that you guys can see kind of to the right of the axe cat right now. And a crane middle neck piece is actually for the slit scarred eye right there, for the horizontal one, or diagonally horizontal we should say. So we'll start off with the axe being created here with a few different stamp pieces. We're going to go with a minus sign to be the start of the handle, and then a sugar cube. We can use that once again. That'll be for the back of the axe right here. And I'm just kind of making a few adjustments to get it in the right spot because you don't want to have put everything down and then need to readjust everything after that. I mean, sometimes you do have to do that, but I'm saying it's much better if you can kind of get away with not having to do that. So four-eyed fish after those two glow sticks that we just typed in, the two glow sticks X'd over each other to be these ties or straps on the axe. But yes, four-eyed fish, we went with the back tail piece of the four-eyed fish. And so the reason, of course, for this, you can probably even just see it coming to fruition, is that it does look like that little axe shape of the axe cat. And so I do really like how that turned out, using a lot of various crazy stamps that are kind of outside of the box and far from their original intended look or whatever to now make it so that our axe cat is holding an axe. Good stuff. Another minus sign to finish out that wood part of the axe on the top. And so here you can see in the properties editor, you know, we're giving it 200 health just like how it has 200 HP in the game. We're making the weapon actually be a chop instead of a bash animation or weapon use, adjusting the movement speed to how it is in the game, and that all looks good. So let's test it out. We're gonna put down a why not a strong hostile white dog. We did the white dog earlier, of course, because this is sort of a reference to Battle Cat's enemies, but that's exactly what I wanted the animation to look like for the axe cat. So that's, you know, moving that axe pieces, all of those stamps to the grid for the head of the cat is really good. I like that use. So I said we wouldn't be copying or just using a cat as the source object for all of them, and here is proof right here. We're gonna go with a beast as the source object this time, and this is, I think, the one that's gonna present the most challenges because we're gonna be creating gross cat now, and you just want to remove the head, the tail, the legs, all of that good stuff, but be aware kind of where you're placing everything. Again, use those green grids. If you press that icon, it's on your top right kind of panel of buttons that you can use. It has Maxwell's head with a dotted line around it and a wheel and a banana and all that stuff. That's the button that you want to use to turn on the grids. And so here, if you go to kind of the upper leg piece grids and everything for these green grids, you know, just where the beast's upper thighs were and legs and stuff, that's where you want to be attaching these road pikes. So those are road pike, and from here on out, most of the faces of the cats are going to be the same, you know, so I don't need to show that over and over and over again, but it was, you know, the P for the eyes, the little fish fin to be the open mouth, the eyebrows, and the dunce cap ears. So that's kind of what you need to do on that beast body for the gross cat. After the scripting and everything, we can then move on to have a lioness as the source object, and again, your source object isn't always what you intend your character to be, and so we don't intend this to be a lion. This is actually going to be for the cow cat, and so if you type in a bunyip, you can grab that front upper leg piece, and basically that's going to serve as the head, so we do want to put that on the head grid right here for the cow cat. Notice that everything was painted painted white all over, and the tail on the end, there's those 3 tail pieces. Well, that very last one, of course, was black because we are going to put some fur down there in just a moment. A tusk is what I'm typing in now, but we also used a mola, the top fin of the mola, and the tusk is going to be the horns. The mola fin is going to be for ears right here. And hopefully you also notice that, of course, there is that little dot. Scribblenauts Unlimited, a lot of the characters have like a little dot where the joint attaches to the character. So often it's on the legs or the arms and stuff like that. There's a little connector dot piece, almost like a brad or something. Well, we covered that up now with a dot as the stamp that we use for the open mouth right here. And so an eyebrow twice, we can do that for the little mouth pieces and just kind of create the face how we were doing it earlier, you know, with the 22nd page arm shapes from the 29-page library. Again, to get to that 29-page library, you just click that stamp icon down there, kind of in the bottom middle, a little bit to our right. But then there's a icon sort of near the upper left, second icon down, that has like an arm connector piece, basically a Scribblenauts arm, I should say. And that's where we're looking at it. That's the 29-page library. That's what I'm referring to, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so then we're going to go with a wisp, the little smokiness around the wisp. We can just use the smallest piece at the bottom right of the wisp for that, and that'll be for the fur on the end of the tail for Cowcat here. And so a road hump is what I'm going to type in next. We're almost done here. The road hump is going to be for the udder down below. A tube man is actually something we can use to grab just one stamp. We're going to take his hand of the tube man, and it's just one stamp that it can accomplish kind of 3 things. You could do 3 separate udders if you have enough stamp space, but one thing about Scribblenauts Unlimited is even though it is called Scribblenauts Unlimited, it does have a limit to how many stamp pieces you can use. So, you know, all of those things that we've used just now to create Cowcat or any of our creations, each one of those little things that we're typing in is a stamp. So you do have a limit. Here we got bird cat. We started off with a bat as the source object, just remove the head and the wings, and we typed in a griffin, and you can grab the back wing of the griffin. You want to kind of put them close into the body right here, and of course move them behind the body if the wings aren't there already for the bat. The wings are going to flap super fast. A bat in Scribblenauts Unlimited flaps very fast, and so that is one thing that you just want to be aware of. If you want to use a different object, you could. The thing I like about the bat is that it has the wings both in 2 different directions. Sometimes when you type in like a certain bird in Scribblenauts Unlimited, it'll only actually have one wing flapping. Like try just typing in an owl and see what happens. You'll see what I mean. And so a fawn is the source object for our next creation right here, which then we're going to put down a tiger shark as the body of the tiger shark is also the body of our character right here, which is going to be fish cat. And so then type in a sperm whale, and we can grab that back tail piece of the sperm whale. So just grab that tail. And if you actually can use some color patterns and stuff like that, I do encourage that because it kind of creates this waviness and stuff, and maybe the scaling of the fish cat. These characters are so crazy and awesome. But for the legs, we'll actually take each leg of the jaguar. So we're going to put down, after you type in jaguar, I'm grabbing, for instance, the back legs to be the back legs of our actual fish cat. And so each leg kind of goes where it is also on the jaguar. I like that because its legs are kind of just tall and thin, so that was sort of what I was going for. We're going to type in dime, of course, the dime we used earlier as the main body piece. Well, this time it's kind of the main head of the fish cat, because the big thing about fish cat, of course, is that it's this like half fish, half cat kind of thing, and so the cat portion is right here on the head. But try not to confuse, I did attach that dime right there actually to the body grid, so it's not on any kind of head grid of the fawn or anything like that. It's all attached to the body right there, and the only thing I guess different is that the legs are attached to the legs. 29-page library arm shapes. Once again, it's those same ones that are for the nose, so each time I kind of say this for the cat nose, just remember it's on the 22nd page, second row from the bottom, kind of in the middle there. Fish fin and eyebrows to finish out the mouth right there. And so this one is coming together. We can use those dunce caps once again for the ears. We're mostly going to do that for each cat, although I think Titan cat is kind of the exception there at the end. So spoiler alert, I guess. We will use a different ear shape for that specific cat. But this is looking good. So we have a few more things. I want to do the little fin right here next to the head of the cat. So I went with the mola top fin. Once again, it's a good shape, I think, to get that kind of shape that I'm looking for that fin. And I gave it that color pattern again, just like the sperm whale's tail back there. It kind of has that wavy pattern, I guess, from the color pattern library in this game. Now this will be interesting. We'll use the telescope fish and grab that tail piece. I don't want to even see that bottom tail, so I've just colored the top one. It's not even going to matter. So the reason is because we are going to move it by layer behind. So again, attach it to the body of your fawn source object, attach it to the torso, but move it all the way back. And you can see that just with the top tail, it creates that ridge kind of dorsal fin at the top of a fish cat right there, so that's good. Now in the home stretch, we've just got a few more cats to create. Let's go with an elephant bird. We've actually never used this character as a source object from Scribblenauts Unlimited. We have used a few stamped pieces from it, but never as a source again. So we'll go with that dime once more, and the dime actually does have kind of a thick black outline and everything. Kind of the smaller an object is in Scribblenauts Unlimited, and then the more big you make it, the more it's going to seem like that kind of black line is pronounced, that outline of the object or stamp piece that you're using. So in general, I try to match kind of the sizing of whatever body the source object is. You know, for instance, in this case, it's the elephant bird's body. I try to match that size and not have to shrink or increase it too much. You know, if I need to, I'll shrink it, but not increase it too much. Sometimes you have to, but in this case, I'm trying to say cover up that elephant bird body, but just do the minimum increasing of that dime as you need to. And a shark pup, we use that upper fin of the shark pup, the dorsal fin. Also, the mola ones are going to be for the arms. That shark pup fin was actually for this tail back here of lizard cat, which is the one we're doing, and we can actually use those same ones to be different ear shapes this time. So we're not going to go with dunce caps for this one either. The ears are a little bit different on lizard cat. So here we go with the shark pup fin to be for those as well. I like those little mola fins being the tiny arms of the lizard cat. It's like a T-Rex or something. It has like hardly any arms. And so to end off here, we do have Titan Cat, and we used all different kinds of stamps for this, but a hazmat worker as the source object. The hazmat worker is just kind of a good solid character, one solid color. Although in this game, if you do like a bleach white or a pitch black kind of color, you can usually go over any sort of pattern. So for instance, like a bodybuilder will have all those muscle ridges and things on it. Well, you could just get rid of those if you went all pitch black or bleach white in color, if that makes sense. Any shading, any kind of details and stuff on the objects can get painted over with those two colors specifically. And so I'm going to have text on screen right here to show you what each kind of stamp was for this character creation right here, because it is involved, but I think we can get away with just showing text to save some time. Just know that the mozzarella was the head, and then for that neck piece attached to the body, we actually did a gelatin. So the head is attached to the head grid in this case, but the neck piece was attached to the body grid. So why not have some more references to the game? A big, strong, it's attacking me, a big, strong, crazy orange pig right here. We need to make the pig actually brave too, because now the pig is gonna run away. Come on. Oh, and look at the Battle Cat Kendo. That's so crazy. I forgot to even mention that my avatar in this episode, I've got Battle Cat Kendo. Epic. All right, now that we've got the pig to be brave, it won't run away from the fights. We did each of the cats scripting to have that in the, basically, this is what I do for almost all the characters, is I'll script them whenever they lose or gain health, basically take damage. Then it adds the adjective brave, or you can do fearless, anything like that. Then let's put our lizard cat to the test, because we didn't show it off before in the fighting. Why not this white camel? And this actually created some sort of one of those hidden accomplishments. I haven't completed all of them in Scribblenauts Unlimited, but I've completed a lot of them. But there are those hidden shards that you can collect by just kind of typing in these weird riddles or kind of meme-ish things sometimes, just whatever it might be. So here we have the cow cat taking on an orange elephant. That actually went by a lot faster than I thought it was going to. Still pretty cool. And then I've got the behavior on most of these. It looks like I missed a few of them, but most of them are scripted to protect cats. And if you script each item under the properties editor to where other items will react to them as a cat, then of course protecting cats will script this to work. You know, they'll all kind of attack. So right here I've got myself, I'm immortal luckily, because otherwise I'd be dead in a heartbeat, but I've got all the cats coming after me because of the protection script, and this is hilarious. They're all beating the crap out of me, but there you have it. This was a really fun episode for, it's something that I had not really known much about. I think I of course knew the game existed, but Battle Cat, or the Battle Cat, interesting looking game, but I really like the kind of weird, simple, yet sometimes complex, but just imaginative ways that they drew all these various cats. Some of them are pretty crazy. They get even crazier, I guess, as the game goes along. But yes, as I was saying, just I hope you guys enjoyed this. Come back every Sunday for a new upload in this series, and at various random times throughout the week, there may be extra videos, like I just had my own personal YouTube rewind, where I just rewinded to look at all of my favorite creations over the last year in this series. So plenty of stuff to see. Most popular, most requested gets created each week, and I will catch you guys on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to into the